to a number of ancient sky goddesses in the ancient Mediterranean and Near East, in particular, Anat, Isis, Anuna, Aset, Hera, and possibly Ashtoreth. It says everywhere. Noric Fridge also bore this title. A Greco-Roman times era and her Roman aspect Juno bore this title. Forms and content of worship vary. The title Queen of Heaven is used by the Catholic and Orthodox Christian for Mary.
Yeah, so Mary's something new, and in Jeremiah, it was not talking about Mary back then, but it was talking about the same different God. You have Isis, okay, Isis and Horus. You have Semiramis, which we're gonna skim through this real quick about Semiramis and the whole Tammuz and all this crap. And the key point is because everything falls back into something. All right, everything has a beginning, so to speak. You can just read from right here.
It says, Ashtar, Semiramis, widow of Nimrod, mother of Tammuz, came to be represented as the bear beast pagan fertility goddess of the East. The original pagan festival of Easter was a sex orgy that celebrated the return of the life via the fertility of Ashtar, conception of Tammuz.
Okay, so I had that brother skim that real quick because we were pressed for time. But when you read up here, it tells you Ashtar was known worship as the mother of God and the queen of heaven. Continued to build her mystery religion. The queen
told worshippers that when Tammuz was killed by the wild pig, some of his blood fell on the stump of an evergreen tree until the stump grew into a full new tree overnight. This made the evergreen tree sacred by the blood of Tammuz.
That goes to Christmas. So now the brother just read before was talking about Easter. All right, because the fertility god. There's nothing new under the sun, so to speak. These are the same people that have been worshiping over and over and again. All right.
Yeah, and also too, I forget the name of this goddess, but when you go bobbing for apples, it's the same exact god. Because you know at Halloween you go bobbing for apples. I forget the name of that particular god, man. But when you do that, that's the same worship of that same deity, which is Ashtar.
Yeah. Oh, real quick, Salaki. Read from there down to here.
Okay. It says she also proclaimed a 40-day period of time of sorrow for each year prior to the anniversary of the death of Tammuz.
So the question when Ezekiel said there was weeping for Tammuz, this is what he got that from.
During this time, no meat was eaten. This is what became known as Lent in the Roman Catholic tradition. Worshippers were to meditate upon the sacred mysteries of Baal and Tammuz, and to make the sign of the toe, a cross, in the front of their hearts as they worship.
That's why you see those Catholic church be doing the cross, the sign of the cross. Yeah. That's nothing new. That was going back to Babylon. All right, and Bel, when you read up, it was talking about when Nimrod got killed, and she said that he was the sun god. He came from the sun, which is in the Egypt world is Ra. Okay, so when they talk about weeping for Tammuz grew up and he died. He got by a wild boar. So she tried to keep the religion because he was supposed to be the born again to be Nimrod.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey brothers, excuse me if I read some of these words messed up because I never seen a lot of these words before. It says in front of their hearts as they worship, they also ate sacred cakes with the marking of a T or a cross. So that cross is for Tammuz.
Yep.
On the top. Every year of the first Sunday after the first full moon after the spring equinox, a celebration was made. It was Ashtar Sunday and was celebrated with rabbits and eggs. Ashtar also proclaimed that because Tammuz was killed by a pig, that a pig must be eaten on that Sunday.
So all you niggas that go to church and go and eat your pig, they like to eat pigs on Sunday. That's why they do. That's why they do it. Because you following old vain philosophies. All right, read on.
It says, Ashtar, Semiramis, widow of Nimrod, mother of Tammuz, came to be represented as the bear beast pagan fertility goddess of the east. The original pagan festival of Easter was a sex orgy that celebrated the return of life via the fertility of Ashtar, conception of Tammuz.
Yeah, so they always had orgies at around that time frame. Okay, to show you that's how wicked a fucking philosophy that they was following. Read on.
Worshippers of Babylonian religion celebrated the conception of Tammuz on the first Sunday after the full moon that followed the spring equinox. They celebrated it by baking cakes to Ishtar, getting drunk. Wait a minute, it says they bake cakes for Diana in the scriptures.
Yep.
The women, they bake cakes for Diana. This is what they was doing.
Yep.
Getting drunk, engaging in sex orgies and prostitution in the temple of Ishtar. Women were required to celebrate the conception of Tammuz by laying down in the temple and having sex with whosoever entered. The man was required to leave her money because I'm reading too fast.
No, you got it. Yeah.
It says men was required to leave her money. Babies were sacrificed in the honor of these pagan gods, and their blood was consumed by the worshippers. So they was over here drinking blood.
Yeah.
All right.
That's why the giving their child up
to Molech.
That's where that come from. Everything has a history, right?
Yep.
This is the Queen of Heaven. This is what Polite was trying to say, right?
Yeah.
And we don't.
The priest of Easter would sacrifice infants, human babies, and take eggs of Easter, Ishtar, as symbols of fertility, and dye them in the blood of the sacrificed infant, human babies. The Easter eggs would hatch on December 25th, 9 months later, the same day her son Tammuz, the reincarnate sun god, would be born.
Yeah, so this whole term of Christmas and everything like that, this is where it all boils down to. All right, Christmas, Easter, everything boils down to when they paint the eggs. That was actually representing the blood of the babies that they had sacrificed.
Wow.
All right, this is the Queen of Heaven. This is what you niggas love so much. This is that black woman. All right, because Summer Ramsey was a Hamitic. She was from Ham.
Yeah.
This is what the Hamitic people do. All right.
You wonder why that the Lord gave you Lord statutes. See now. All right, look now, brother Polite, right? This is for you. You see how the Most High work. You see how the Most High set things up. The Most High sets up an example. That's another reason why these other nations were set up before the nation of Israel, for example.
Yep.
Because you know what? The Most High knew that without law, statutes, and commandments, these other nations would go off the way they was going off. Everything that the Most High, or every law that the Most High gave us, was laws to protect us from doing things that these other nations was doing.
Yep.
Like balding your head, like the Egyptians, making a sun disk around your fucking head. All right, shaving off your damn beard because the brother said to try to make yourself clean or something like that. All those things, all those laws that the Most High gave you was it was the opposite of what these nations was doing.
Yep. Real quick, please, Leviticus 18:2. Speak unto the children of Israel.
Speak unto the children of Israel. All right, go ahead.
Say unto them, I am the Lord that your power. After the doings of the land of Egypt where you dwelt, you shall not do. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whether I bring you, you shall not do. Neither shall you walk in their ordinance.
Yeah, because they was doing odious works of witchcraft. Wasn't when Pharaoh was buried in his tomb, wasn't he taking a sacrifice with him?
Yep.
He was taking a human sacrifice with him.
Yep.
All these things that these other nations was doing, the Most High was against it. All right. All right. It says this is where the practice of coloring. It says, Salakia. This is where the practice of coloring eggs came from. Many babies will be born around December 25th from sex orgies that began on the feast of Ishtar in the spring, and many of these babies will be sacrificed to the following Easter, Ishtar feast. It was also common for pagans to bake cakes to offer to her, the Queen of Heaven.
The Queen of Heaven. So when you go back to Jeremiah, now you see why they were sacrificing to the Queen of Heaven. Okay,
babies.
They were sacrificing their babies. They were doing all odious works as what those Babylonians was doing. But let's read this real quick and then we go back to Jeremiah.
It says, it was also common for pagans to bake cakes to offer to her, the Queen of Heaven, on Friday before the Easter festival. This is where we gained the custom of hot cross burning.
And the buns. The hot cross buns. What they eat the Catholic
Oh, buns, excuse me.
With the cross symbol indicating the female. The Babylonian symbol for the female was and is a circle with a cross. The
peace sign.
Ankh. The Ankh, okay? That's what it was. The cross with the Ankh. Let me just, this what time.
It says, where was that? Alright, it says the circle with a cross or cross beneath. The cross also indicated the equinox when the Earth orbit crossed the
celestial equinox. Now, when these fucking these niggas went down to Egypt, they was keeping they was doing the same thing. They was worshiping these pagan fucking gods. Okay. This we got right.
All right, this is Jeremiah 44:17. But we will certainly do whatsoever thing goes forth out of our own mouth, to burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offering unto her, as we have done, we and our fathers, our kings and our princes, in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem.
So we're gonna follow what those people just did. All right, that's what they was basically saying. We're gonna follow what our fathers did, because obviously they didn't worship the Queen of Heaven correctly. That's why they got jacked up. That's what they was saying right there. But read on.
It says, for they had we plenty of victuals and were well and saw no evil. But since we left off to burn incense to the Queen of Heaven and to pour out drink offering unto her, we have wanted all things and have been consumed by the sword and by the famine.
And so this is who they give credit to. When the Lord had actually jacked them up, the Lord did that. They was like, nah, it wasn't the Lord. It was the Queen of Heaven that jacked up, because we stopped worshiping her. Because we